Well, people, long gone heroes. Thanks to Signature, we took a look at this one, right? It's the new film from John Swab, who wrote and directed from a story by Santiago Manez Moreno. The film is produced by Emilio Ferrari, Santiago Manez Moreno, Nolly Mola, Scott Putman, Charlie Toro, and Christiana Villa. And Carlos Valeres, who also executive produces, along with Gerard Safia, Jorge Rojas Boscalila, Oliver Moulton, Vasilina Georgievia Mola, Mark Jacobson, Philip B. Godfind, Francisco J. Rivera Fernandez, Angel Casania, James T. Bruce IV, and Barry Brooker. It is co-executive produced by Clara Loop, with some production, also supervisory production from Nicolas Martinez Lozano. Okay, so David Sardi took care of the music. Brandon Cox is on cinematography. It's all edited by Kevin Hale and Andrew Arasonon. Gustavo Moyano is down with the casting. Production design, we've got Nicholas Duke and Harak Rubio. Set decoration, John Henry Rodriguez and Jean Rubio. Canela Toban is costume design. Hair and makeup, we got Laura Torres, Gigi Romano, Mauricio Gustavia Reyes, Paul Barber Ramirez, Tara Mascara, Ana Maria Galindo, Edna Franjul, Sarah Victoria Kula. Okay, and our cast, right? So, we have got Gunner, played by Frank Grillo. Then there is Mace Spencer, who played by Wendy Moniz, and I believe that is Gunner's ex, right? We then have got Olivia Peterson, played by Melissa Leo, who I think that is Gunner's sister, right? I think that's how it all works out, because his niece is Julia, and that's Olivia's daughter. Yeah, and Julia is played by Eden Brolin. Right. Now, Gunner's crew, there's Matty, played by George Carroll, who there's West, played by Beau Knapp. You got David, played by Josh Hutcherson. Guapo, played by Juan Pablo Raba. Right? And yeah, so they're going up against Roman, played by Andy Garcia. Right? His right-hand man is Maru, played by Maki Pfeiffer. There's Luis, played by Santiago Lozano. Poi, played by Manez Vasquez. Cesar Torres, played by Daniel Payas. Fede, played by Gustav Geraldo. Andrea, played by Leah Nizim. That's the main lot of people, I would probably say. So the gist of the film: Gunner, a special forces soldier who has witnessed the darkest side of country and combat, is forced back into the field of battle to save his niece, who is being held in South America. As the fight intensifies, Gunner and his team discovered that her disappearance is part of a corrupt private operation that hits way too close to home. So yeah, there we go. Right? It's it's an interesting film, right? It's done pretty well, right? I would say it's been put together fairly solidly. I mean, we covered Brolin before, right? With Swab, right? We covered Swab's film, One Day as a Lion, right? That he directed that. And that was okay, right? That was decent enough. It was solid, you know? And again, that's what this is. We have a solid film. I think if you enjoy, stuff like Triple Frontier, then, Den of Thieves, then I think this probably works for you, right? So we start off with Gunner and his team going through the forest. And then we kind of jump back a week before. And a week before, we have Julia doing this interview. With a guy high up in the Venezuelan government. I think he might be the mayor, something like that, right? And all this stuff is revealed. Now, this obviously gets her in the shit. And she gets kidnapped, right? So now Gunner gets called by his sister to come help, right? And we see him, get his team together and just all of this kind of stuff. And so we get the beats, right? Those typical beats in a film like this. It follows along. We have those moments, gunfights, all of that jazz. It's here. Some good camera work, following the action. Not a shaky cam, but it's kind of fluid in the way we're going around corners and everything like that. So all of that, yeah. They do make, our group look sweaty and messy and dirty. So, they're making an effort. There is a thing though, right? Because it's a week after she did this interview. So obviously, been in captivity for a week, slightly over the time we get to Julia. And even with the rest of the gang, like they're looking sweaty, they're looking dirty. Great. One thing that they always fuck with is body hair, right? Look, stubble, right? Stubble's a thing. You don't shave for a day and, you're getting stubble, right? There's another day, it's more visible. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Underarm hair, all of that stuff, hair length, just, it changes. And it's never represented. So it makes these moments when someone's meant to have been held for a while and their hair is the same length and just everything. You're just like, yo, what? Nah, not buying it, right? Not buying it. Like, Julia's meant to be a top journalist, but she's put together a whole chunk of info, right? Exposed this, shadiness, right? She's exposed it. But it seems like she's as good a journalist as Lois Lane, right? As good as Lois Lane. Because Lois Lane is fooled by fucking glasses. So obviously she is not Polwitzer, right? She's not that good. But she's a moron. She got fooled by glasses. And here, Julia, top journalist, right? Going into a country that is being sanctioned and, there's a lot of shit going on. But no sort of protection, no sort of exit strategy, right? It's just dumb. It's dumb. And, when you hear from journalists who are, doing it, I forget her name. She's Dutch, right? She does that show Trafficked. And she talks about going into certain things, and they're like, yeah, we had to hire private security to do this, and when we got stranded here, like, it was so hairy, this got us out. Like, talks about the process. So then you have something like this, and the supposed doesn't do anything, right? There's nothing being done. Now, listen. You can have the same film. You can have her in the same circumstance, but have her security killed. Something, but show, right, that there's some sort of intelligence going in. Because when we're being sold that someone is meant to be this top level person, but then just the fundamentals are so flawed, it's hard to believe, right? It's hard to believe. Also, it's the Julia character's a little bit shaky because she's being held, she's being just all of these things, and supposedly she's not scared, then she's a little scared. Like, it's just because, all right, if she's not scared, it means she's been in similar situations. If she's been in similar situations, why wasn't she prepared? So it doesn't really, work on that level for that character. Like, just dumb. And then also, you're backing everything up. Right? Shit ain't just staying on one thing. Right? You make copies, especially when it's like a crazy thing. Right? There's always more copies. So, yeah, that aspect of things was silly. Like, the rest of it, you do buy the characters, right? The characters work. It's a little cliched, right? It's a little cliched, but it's okay. We've seen these people before, so it works on that thing. You do there's a bit when they're going through this brothel, right, to bunk down for the night. Why? Right? Like, why? There's just no need to be seeing tits and shit. You know what I mean? It's a weird one. And then we get the scene of a guy going out looking for the toilet, opens a door, and it's a couple fucking. Right, I say it's a couple. Right? It's a dude. It's a John fucking, one of the girls there. Why? Right? Like, it's just that there was no need for the scene. There's just no need for it. It's bonkers, right? Like, just the story on its own is fine, right? Watching them try and extricate themselves from this predicament, right? The gunfights, right? The hand-to-hand fights, they're all pretty decent. There was one bit where I swear one person got killed twice, right? As is towards the end. And I swear, like, David takes a shot. And I swear, yeah, dude dies twice in two different scenes. I might be wrong, but that's what it did seem like. But all of those things, yeah, they work and everything like that. You know, it is a bit at the end, you know, it's just like the whole, ooh, what's gonna happen? And you're like, yeah. But solid, right? Does keep your interest throughout because yeah, you're curious to see what goes down, how will this all play out, you know? So it's it's forgettable, but it will hold you down for 90 minutes, right? So the film is now out on all your favorite VODs, and you can own it on DVD if you still do that, right? You can own it from the 7th of April. So, yeah, there you go, people. Long Gone Heroes.